देवी पूज्य पद कमल तुम्हारे, सुर नर मुनि सब होए सुखारे। देवी पूज्य पद कमल तुम्हारे, सकल मनोरथ सफल हमारे। जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे, जय श्री अम्बे जय जगदम्बे। श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ, श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ, श्री माँ जय माँ जय जय माँ।
After that first meeting with Ma in Kenchi, it became hard to stay away. So, while the rest of my life seemed to be going on as usual, I would in fact be waking up as early at 3 am, getting ready in the dark, and nipping down to the garden to pick seasonal flowers for Ma in the torchlight before driving to Kenchi. It would still be night outside when I'd leave home, the trees and mountains in shadow, and I would reach the ashram in the pristine silence of the morning. Kenchi would just be waking up. The pujaris would be unlocking the temple doors, lighting the lamps, mopping the floors. My chosen place to wait while doing my jap was a nook behind the Vindhyavasini temple, facing Ma's blue window. I never had to wait long. Soon I would hear a creak and the shutter in front would be eased open. Ma would call out my name in her sweet voice and I would go closer, hands folded. Looking down at me from the window, a smile on her lips, she would speak to me. इतनी जल्दी आ गई? रात में नींद नहीं आई? ये तृष्णा ऐसी ही होती है, प्यासा पानी ही खोजता है। मैं भी जल्दी 2 बजे महाराज जी के दर्शन के लिए हनुमानगढ़ चली जाती थी, मगर जल्दी लौटना पड़ता था, घर में काम काज जो था। You have come so early. Were you not able to sleep at night? Yes, such is the longing. A thirsty person seeks nothing but water. I used to leave home as early as 2 am and go to Hanumangarh for Maharaj Ji's darshan. I had to be back early to attend to household work. After a short conversation, Ma would ask me to go home. The window would close. On some days, Ma would open the corner door near the Devi temple and quietly signal for me to come inside. This was Baba's kuti, his wooden bed on one side, a metal saggar smouldering in the corner, the scent of Google permeating the room. I realized much later that this was a restricted zone as very few were allowed in here. Ma would say, "ये कुटी कैंची का हृदय है." Maharaj Ji's kuti is the heart of Kenchi. Eventually, I got to learn from Ma that though Baba slept in the kuti across the courtyard at night, which was called the Baharwali Kutiya in Kenchi parlance, and which, for some reason, the Westerners called the office, during the day he used to rest here. He would write Ram Ram in a notebook, sitting on the wooden bed. A few of his close devotees would gather around him when he so desired, and he often asked one of them to read from the Tulsi Ramayana, the Bhagavad Gita, or the Gyaneshwari of Samarth Ramdas. One of his favorites, in fact, was the book on the life of Sharda Devi, the consort of Sri Ramakrishna. Maharaj Ji had a way of referring to the book as Jai Rambati, which was the birthplace of Ma Sharda. This kuti was where Maharaj Ji passed on his spiritual legacy to Ma. A group of close devotees witnessed this extraordinary moment here on 9 September 1973. It was mid-morning and Maharaj Ji was writing Ram Ram in his notebook, reclining on the takhat in his usual posture. While writing, he used to lean on the bed, resting on his elbow. That day, he wrote Ram Ram for 9th and 10th September, and then, after writing 11th September in the corner of the next page, slid the notebook across the takhat towards Ma, who had been sitting there, saying, "Aaj se isme tu likhegi, Amma. From today, you will write in this, Amma." The prophetic truth of those words dawned on those who were there when 2 days later, Maharaj Ji took Mahasamadhi in Vrindavan. Through the Ram Ram notebook, he had symbolically passed the sacred baton to Ma. Until then, Sri Siddhi Ma had lived from moment to moment in service to the person of her Guru. However, after she was bestowed the spiritual mantle, she gradually stepped out from the inner chambers of Kainchi. Now, along with Jivanti Mataji, she dedicated herself to serving Maharajji's ashrams and temples, enhancing their purity and recreating them as havens where seekers would find their paths, and tired minds, escaping the upheavals of Kali Yuga, would find peace and tranquility. As we devotees believe, Neem Karoli Baba was an avatar of Hanumanji himself. And when such souls grace the earth, it is the aura of their presence that blesses, teaches, gives, and transforms in mysterious divine ways. To rationalize or analyze this phenomenon is beyond the ken of human intellect. In Maharajji's time, hundreds experienced this daily in his proximity. As Ma would say often, the Sanskrit word Upanishad means being near. When you are in the proximity of an enlightened saint, that is when transmission and transformation take place. When Ram Das came to Maharajji, he asked him how he could awaken his Kundalini Shakti. Maharajji tried to evade this first, suggesting he visit other sages. However, when Ram Das persisted with the question, Maharajji finally said, "दो अक्षर राम नाम के कोई लेता नहीं, राम नाम से असंभव भी संभव होता है." 2 syllables, the name of Ram, no one wants to take. Even the impossible becomes possible with the name of Ram. This was the summum bonum of Maharajji's philosophy, the efficacy and power of the Lord's name. He would often give 2 examples. Valmiki the robber became a great sage and poet, and Hanumanji crossed the ocean in one leap, all by taking the name of Ram. In Maharajji's kuti, the most sacred place in Kainchi, I would spend a few precious minutes with Mother every morning. Usually, Ma spoke, I listened. Sometimes it was a story or 2 about Maharajji. Other times, it was spiritual guidance. For instance, even though earlier she had asked me to stop reading, she now began to give me books of her own choice. Some were abstruse, such as the Ashtavakra Gita or the Yoga Vashisht, while others, like the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna by M. and commentaries on the Ramayana by Ram Kinkarji, were more accessible to me. After about 10 minutes or so, Ma would hurriedly get up and disappear inside. She would return with a shiny steel lota with tea in it. The fragrance of tulsi in the tea still lingers in my mind. Years later, I was deeply touched when I realized that Ma herself would make the tea for me on the coal fire before my arrival, since the ashram kitchen opened much later. Afterwards, Ma would ask me to return to Nainital. Often it was a one-line goodbye. जा, अब तो मिल गए. ये कितने जन्मों का है? Go, now we have met. This is the bond of many lives. I would drive back home then to my parallel life in time for breakfast. The family would be at the dining table. My 2 elder brothers, none the wiser about my morning pilgrimage. Not long after, Ma began to ask me to stay in Kainchi for a few days at a time. So, carrying a small suitcase and great joy in my heart, I would come to the ashram. When I think about these brief interludes, what I remember most vividly were the summer nights in Kainchi. The clear sky, the stars, the soft cool breeze, the fragrance of jasmine flowers that grew behind Maharajji's temple. It was enchanting. Past the midnight hour, when everyone slept, I would slip out of my room and go to the temples. I would sit in the silence and savor the sweetness of the night. The night watchman would be in his cabin at the far end of the temple courtyard, sitting by a small fire, partially awake, partially asleep. The ashram dogs were tied in the veranda opposite Ma's room, and sometimes they would bark at the slightest sound. Fearing that they would inadvertently end up disturbing Ma's sleep, I would try to quieten them down. As the night deepened, I would sit on the steps near Baba's takhat. Usually, between 2 a.m. and 3 a.m., Ma's window would slowly open. Sleepy-eyed, holding the window bars with both her hands, she would call out to me in a voice that was still husky with the remnants of sleep. To get closer to her, I would gently shift Baba's takhat and kneel on the floor next to the window. This would be my treasured time with Ma. She would speak to me in small sentences, sharing reminiscence of her early life with Baba. Jaya, Ma would say, महाराज को मैं एक भजन सुनाती थी. सुमिरन कर ले मेरे मना, तेरी बीती उम्र हरि भजन बिना. बाद में महाराज जी मुझे मेरी मना कहकर पुकारते थे. Jaya, I used to sing a devotional song for Maharaj. Immerse the heart in the constant remembrance of the Lord. My life has gone by without singing of the glories of Hari. And in years later, Maharaj ji used to call me Meri Mana from that. Talking of years when Ma was still at home, she would say that she had a long day full of household duties. As the youngest in the household in a large joint family, her responsibilities were many. Ma would, late at night, when the house had fallen silent, sit down to her sadhana, and time would lose its meaning for her. It would be in the wee hours of the morning that she would finally eat a little. In later years, when Ma was living in Kenchi, she told me during one of these nighttime conversations that after offering the bhog thali to Maharaj ji in his kuti, she would wait by the takhat in case he asked for something. On his thali, Maharaj ji would leave a small portion of the food he had partaken, and unbeknownst to all except Choti Mataji, that is the sum of what Ma would eat that night. This was Mahaprasad for Ma and the true source of her spiritual energy. Ma loved telling stories from the lives of saints and sages. One night, I remember, she spoke of the great saint Mirabai, how she had renounced the splendors of a royal palace and wandered the streets of Vrindavan singing the glories of Hari. Another night, she told me about Sakkubai, a great devotee of Lord Vitthal, who was tortured by her family members daily, until the Lord himself came to rescue her from her suffering. Ma said, भक्ति कोई खेल नहीं, लोहे के चने चबाने पड़ते हैं, तलवार की धार पर चलना पड़ता है. Bhakti is no child's play. It's like chewing grains of steel and walking on the sharp edge of a sword. I asked, but Ma, why the suffering? She replied that pain and suffering strengthen sadhana, but so intoxicated is the bhakt with love for God that even thorns on the path feel like metals. Eknath, Tukaram, Namdev, Chokha Mela, these great Varkari saints from Maharashtra were her particular favorites, and she liked to speak of their Nam sadhana. She said that their way of bhakti was to chant the Lord's name. नाम में बड़ी भारी शक्ति है जया, नाम ही सब कुछ है, इसी से मन एकाग्र होता है, she would say. The name has great power, Jaya. It is the only way to focus the mind. Telling me this, Ma would softly sing a line from a devotional song, Prem mudit man se kaho Ram Ram Ram, Niradhar ko aadhar ek Ram Naam. With a heart full of love, sing Ram Ram Ram. The only support of the helpless is the name of Ram. While speaking of Tukaram and the other Varkari saints, I observed that Ma was filled with an intense longing for the darshan of Lord Vithoba of Pandharpur, whom she told me she had wanted to visit since she was a child of 6. Jaya, मुझे पंढरपुर ले चल. Take me to Pandharpur, Jaya. I would promptly reply, माँ, आप मुझको ले जाएंगी. माँ, it is you who will take me. On those summer nights, Sri Ramakrishna and Sharda Ma would come up in conversation. Ma told me that upon the mention of Ramakrishna Paramhans, Maharajji would smile at Ma, lift his forefinger to emphasize and say, Guru Chi, Guru Chi, Guru The, Guru The. What he meant in Pahari was that Sri Ramakrishna had been her Guru in a past life. One night, Ma came out of her room with a book in her hand and sat on the steps with me near Maharajji's takhat, saying, ले, ये गीता तू रख ले. पहले मैं इसके बिना रह नहीं पाती थी. And she gave the book to me. Keep this Gita with you. There was a time when I could not stay without it. This Bhagavad Gita had been a constant companion for Ma when she lived in Nainital, and this was the only possession she brought to the ashram with her. I was speechless that she thought me worthy of this precious prasad, and I received it from her with humble gratitude. Later in Kainchi, I would sometimes bring the Gita to her, and clasping it in her hand, Ma would put it to her forehead, and then, with eyes closed, she would embrace it. During one of those summer nights, a most extraordinary thing was revealed to me. Ma said, "Did you know that when you were a baby, I used to see you every day? While walking to Govardhan Hall for satsang, I would see you near the bandstand, wheeled by your ayah in a pram. I would stop to spend a moment with you." I was amazed to hear this. Smiling, Ma went on to describe the frocks I wore, recalling the tiny roses embroidered on them, and even what my ayah wore, off-white khadi dhotis with large checks on them and long-sleeved woolen blouses. The thought that Ma knew me so long before I knew her was something that moved me very deeply, convincing me even more that my bond with her was from many, many lives. When I think back to these nighttime conversations with Ma, I can remember how it was for me, as though time would stop and the entire world would recede. There was just Ma. And yet, there came a moment when I would realize that dawn was nigh and soon Kainchi would begin to awaken. Sensing that my time with Ma was coming to a close, I would pose to her the one question that was forever uppermost in my mind. Will there ever come a day, Ma, when I will never have to leave you? Ma would hold my hand through the window and quote these lines spoken by Hanumanji to Mother Sita from the Sundarkand of the Tulsi Ramayan. Kachuk divas janani dharudhira, kapin sahit aihai raghubira. Here, Sri Hanumanji pleads with Mother Sita to wait patiently for a few days, assuring her that Bhagwan Raghubir will come with his army of monkeys to take her.
Shri Ma Jai Ma Jai Jai Ma